There we go. Morning, people. How we doing? Hope everyone's had a good morning. Hope everyone's had a better bloody night than I has. God, thought I'd just do a short show. Been up since bloody 4:30 this morning. Cannot sleep, come love nor money. I've just been reading about a couple of things, just been thinking about a couple of things on there. Like I say, not a very random show, not going to be long. Just a point I wanted to get over that got covered on the show yesterday. In the morning while I was speaking with Sava, Ben, Connor, and it was Connor who actually mentioned something that I hadn't really took into consideration properly. I mean, yeah, obviously Maddison was injured. I think we all know Maddison's injured. We all know that one. And we all know he's done his leg again. Basically exactly the same thing, except some things I read, this one's a little bit worse. Sometimes I read it's not as bad. We don't actually know until the full crack comes out about it. But he's basically gone and done his ACL for the second time in exactly the same place in a matter of, what, let's say six months? Less than that even. I think that's a player we need to seriously look at possibly brushing aside and looking for the new one. After what Connor said yesterday, I hadn't looked at it that far ahead. I kept looking at it on more the side of, who've we got who can cover Maddison right now? Well, how long's Kulusevski out for is the question. Would Bergvall be any good in that spot is another question. And then the only other option I really see us put in there is Kudus. And then I think that totally destroys our option on the right-hand side of what Thomas Frank intends to do. So what do we do with this Maddison thing? I must admit, I'm interested in that one because I think that is now a priority that we need to look at filling up, not for now, for the future. Because if I'm going to be totally honest with what Connor said yesterday and then taking it in, talking to him about it and the others, and then just thinking about it a bit more randomly this morning when you get up at 4:30 and you're just looking through the internet and that, you look through some random things. I think we would be extremely lucky if we got Maddison back as a player with the capabilities that we know he's got. I mean, how many players do you know that actually make a full-blown recovery from a back-to-back ACL injury in the short time that he's had the injury as well? I don't think it looks like it's in his favour. I mean, he's, 28, coming on 29, if I remember right. Age, definitely not in his favour there, is it? I think we actually have to have a serious look. Again, I know people are saying this is a more negative look. I'm trying to look at this realistic, like on a business side sort of thing. And if I'm the businessman sitting there, I'm going to be thinking, right, what are the actual odds and chances of this man, this object, whatever you want me to call him as a businessman, whatever way I look on him, what are the chances of him coming back? No. I'd say, just in random numbers, I'd say in my way there's about 70% chance that Maddison don't come back as the player we know. Still got skill, but going to be extremely brittle. He's going to lose half his movement. And this is just seeing what we've seen happen to other players who've busted their ACL. I mean, look at Virgil van Dijk, for instance. Major ACL injury, if I remember right. It was his ACL injury. And came back, and it took him over a season. I'd say about a season and a third to get back to the player of the same standards he was. He did manage to come back and make that capability, but look how long it took. I mean, that first season he come back, I mean, maybe terrible is a bit of a harsh word, but compared to the capability that we know Virgil van Dijk had or has got, he wasn't half the player he was. So in that aspect, I think we actually have to have a serious look out there for someone to replace Maddison full time. Not just someone to step in for the meantime, because I don't think that's an option. I think we have to look at basically saying goodbye to Maddison, cut our losses with him, and we have to go and get someone now. Because what we're going to do, wait until January. Basically wait until January, see what Maddison's doing then, see if he's coming back then. What are the chances of him fixing himself? What are the chances of him getting his act together and that? And then another 2-3 months into that season to start getting his foot on the roll and that again, if he even can. That's pretty much more than half the season done for him, basically. Because he still hasn't even really recovered from the first time he got the injury. He got on the pitch and he's busted himself straight away again. So I think we need another number 10, another playmaker. And to go and actually find one like Maddison is not going to be an easy job. I mean, for me, Maddison is one of the best playmakers out there in the Premier League. I won't say one of the best players, but I'd definitely say one of the best playmakers. I mean, I wouldn't put him on the same level as Eriksen, personal opinion. But he's definitely one who's got that eye for the ball, like I wanted my playmaker to have, that before the ball gets to his foot, he's already assessed the area around him and he knows where he wants to put the ball. Maddison's got that capability and plenty of it when he's got the space, to do it. And he's proved that time and time again. So where do we go from there? I mean, I don't know what people on the side here are thinking, but I think it's a solid question. What do we do? Do we just block up the place for the meantime? Do with what we got, get other places? Because we definitely need to get another player or two in there. But I think this has definitely just made us more important up front than anywhere in midfield at the back. I mean, the first two I'd have put in is two new central midfielders. We got one of them. I'd still be going for another. But in that aspect, I think that one's taking it out of the picture, basically. I think our most definite thing that we need to do, people say we need a striker. Yes, we do. People say we need someone on the left. Yes, we do. We need someone in a few places. I think that number 10 is our most important space now. Because without Maddison there, we've just got hardly any creativity in that team. Yeah, you could say Kudus has got a bit, but did we get him for the number 10? No. Could he work as the number 10? Possibly, but that's not what we got him for. And yeah, sorry to say it, but some might say, looking on it on the negative side, I'm looking on this on the realistic side. Being brittle it is and everything else, personally, I think that's Maddison done and dusted. And I did not think that far ahead until Connor mentioned it yesterday. Cheers, Connor. Appreciate it, mate. Another thing to hit the ump about Spurs with, isn't it? But he was totally right. I just did not look that far ahead with it. I was just thinking, right, who can we cover for that? Use to cover for the meantime, and then obviously we'll have Maddison back. No, for me, it's not as simple as that. And like I said, 2 back-to-back ACL injuries, wasn't recovered from the first one fully. I think there's a very high chance you can look at it and say that Maddison, not quite done and dusted as a player, but I don't think we're going to get James Maddison back. Not the one that we know. I mean, there's one or two we can go out there for. There's one that I'd definitely look at. I mean, on stats, he doesn't look like maybe the best option to go for, but I've seen him play a few times, and I think play him in a different formation and style as well. I think he's a very good player that we could go for and also stand a chance of getting to him. I mean, I'll go into the details of him in a minute. I mean, going out there and getting Ezio and whatever, that's a no-brainer, yeah? But is that really going to happen? I don't think any of us see that's actually going to happen, do they? Highly unlikely to go and get Eze. It's highly unlikely. So the one I do look at a lot at Atalanta, I mean, Ederson would be a centre mid that I would love to go for, full stop. But it's that Charles de Ketelaere. I can't pronounce his bloody name. The Belgian fella. He can play up front as striker when needed to be, as he did a few times last season. But he also mainly covers attacking midfield central. Definitely not the sort of playmaker to the extent that Maddison is, but are we going to be able to get anyone to that extent? But I think he's an option we should go for. That is a personal opinion. I think he's a player we should have a serious look at because we could get him. He covers that position. Well, he plays there. And he also does play as striker when needed as well. And I honestly can't think of any more serious options that we can look at going for and getting for a decent amount of money to still have money to spend elsewhere like we're meant to be doing. That one with James Maddison, that's just done us for the future, in my opinion. So for people why I'm asking why I'm up so early, I've been up since bloody 4:30. Did not have a good night's sleep at all. And then was sitting on here from 8:30 trying to set up a show. I just thought, you know what, bollocks to do a show for half hour. And was trying to set up a show. And for some reason, StreamYard was just being awkward as. Proper awkward as. So that's why I ended up the show at like 20 past. I was trying to set it up for like 9 o'clock. It's just to say good morning to a couple of people. Drooler, morning Dan, morning to you. Hope you've had a better night than me. Josh, morning to you, mate. Hope you've had a better night as well. And hope we have a good day. And Tarek, hi Dan, big up to you, mate. Goosey, afternoon from Ozdan. Cool, yeah, it is afternoon here and all, isn't it? It's only just morning here. Yeah, morning, afternoon to you, mate. And Henry, morning, Dan. Big early UK start. Yep. And Ozzy also saying, good day, Dan. Drooler saying, Maddison is not coming back from this as the same player. Look, I totally agree. I just didn't think that far ahead with it. I genuinely didn't. I just didn't. I think like a lot of us, I don't think thought that far ahead with it. It was more the attitude of who can we use to cover him now? Because the problem is obviously now, who do we use to cover him now? But then who do we use to cover him long term? Because like you say, I don't think he's ever coming back from this as the same player. I mean, I hope I'm totally wrong. I want to be totally wrong. But with what I've seen to happen to other, I mean, look at Bentancur. That one ACL busted him and he's never been the same player since. Again, not saying Maddison hasn't got the capability to come back to the standards. It's just more, has he got the physicality for it? And I'm agreeing with Jurij. I think we're not going to get the same player. And he was pretty brittle anyway, in my opinion. And Ozzy Franco saying Maddison is cooked, he's gone. I don't think he'd be completely gone, but I just don't think he's going to have the same capabilities in that. And Josh saying, what's Josh saying here? None. He's done now, unfortunately. Yep, sadly, it is looking that way. And Rhythmatic Renegade, morning mush. Dick you, Chav, how you doing, boy? And Cold Shot, it's over for him. We need another hungry, younger version of him. Yeah, totally agree. But where do we get someone who's got the capabilities that Maddison's got? Because this is one thing with Maddison as well. I mean, he got a lot of stick last season. And I do admit at times he can be quite an annoying player. But I think he's just one of those players, like a playmaker does, like Eriksen used to, who does actually disappear on the pitch for a little bit. But then as soon as they get the ball, they do something special with it. They do something needed with it. And I find that's what a lot of playmakers do. A lot of old school number 10 playmakers, or even the modern ones and that, they do drift off here and there. But as long as when they get the ball, they get that pass right. That's what matters at the end of the day. How often do you see an out-and-out playmaker getting involved in the whole game, here, there, everywhere on the pitch? I'm not saying there's none that do it, but not that many. So, yeah, we definitely, if we can find someone with the talent that he's got, then be happy as with that. But how many out there can we even find with the sort of talent that Maddison has got? Because he is a player that we really do notice when he's not there. I think a lot of us don't appreciate him to the extent of the quality he's got when he is there. It's one of them players you notice more than ever when he's not there. Like when a team has always had that tank in midfield. They've always had that solid man who can control the midfield for them, who can boss it. Man City, prime example. And as soon as they lost Rodrigo, yeah, they had other injuries, but you could see the one that damaged them most. That was their control in midfield. That absolutely destroyed them. I mean, they still end up finishing third, but that absolutely ruined them. So the one I do look at, like I say, Charles De Ketelaere, he played 12 games as a striker last season in the Champions League as well, and scored a few goals with it, not too many. He played his playmaker last season as well for about 25, 26 of his games. I think last season he scored about 13, 14, something like that, and had about 13 assists. No, doesn't look great, but he's a player that I've watched quite a few times, and I'm very interested in what he would be able to do with us. It would be a gamble. I don't deny that. There would be a bit of a gamble side of it, but I don't think it would be a gamble that would be that stupid, because I don't think it would cost excess amount of money. And he's already got about 20, is it 19, 20 games for Belgium. So he's got international experience as well. He's about 23 years old, if I remember. Is he 23, coming on 24, something along them lines? And I think it would just be a good option. But if we can find better, then obviously go for better. But for the prices these days, and we obviously want someone on the left or up front as well, I don't think we're going to get no one on the left. I think the club's already looking at Tell for that one. Tell and Odegaard. I think they're already looking at, they've got that position covered. No, I don't want that one to be covered like that. But to me, it looks like that's what it is. We need that number 10 now, desperately. Not just short term, but long term. So I think that's what we need to actually look for. And Tony, morning Dan and the chat. Morning to you too, mate. I hope you've had a good night. And Aussie Frank Lover. His self-confidence will be gone in himself because that knee will be favoured when he returns, and we'll be hoping he doesn't do it again. They do say with a lot of players that when they come back from that sort of injury, it's not even that the injury is holding them back as such. It's more the mental block that's holding them back. Obviously, with a lot of players, the injury has done them to the point where they just can't do what they wanted to do. But a lot of players who have spoke about it and that said anything when it comes to a major injury like that, it's the mental side of it that actually holds the player back, where they're literally that scared of their own body, of doing the injury again. Even though the leg could be perfectly fine, the knee could be perfectly fine, in just as good nick before it got injured, whatever else and that, because things can heal up properly. And especially with the operations and the stuff they can do these days, it's pretty much shocking what you can rebuild on a human body. They're actually mentally blocked as such, where they're literally scared of their own body, of doing the damage again. It's another thing that holds players back. And Wembley saying, doubt Maddison will play at all this season. I honestly don't know. I mean, it's going to take him at least 3-4 months before he sees the pitch again, even, and that's if he's lucky. Like I said earlier, he was literally on his, what was it, the second time he's shown a face on a pitch since that first injury. Yeah, I think he's pretty much done and dusted for what we need there. And Tony's saying we need a top-class striker, left winger, and a 10 ASAP. Otherwise, we're fucked. It's starting to look that way, mate. Out of all of them, I think we need that 10 most now. We need that playmaker there more than anything. And Michael Jules saying it took Gazza 2 years and he was a lot younger. Totally agree. And did he ever come back to the player of the capability that he had, to the extent that he had? Question you can ask anybody. And Anthony's saying, up early today, mate. Yep, been up since bloody 4:30. And James, Dan, you okay, mate? It's 9:27. Yep, like I said to everyone, mate, no, I'm not okay. I've been up since 4:30. Terrible, terrible night. And Zegrom saying, sad that Madders is out. He was the big hope this season. Yeah, definitely had a lot of hope on him this year. And Spurs fit, Dan's up early. Yep, again, I am. And Philly2109 saying, big up Dan E and everyone in the magnificent chat. Maddison is a very good defensive. Maddison is a very good defensive midfielder. But he is not for me as up. I'm sorry, mate. Am I reading something wrong there? Is it too early in the morning for me? Yeah, I think you've put that wrong, or I've just totally misunderstood that. Maddison is not a good defensive midfielder. Maybe I just read it wrong, mate. Maybe I need another cup of coffee for it. Maybe you need to put that a bit clearer for me, Phil. And Spurs bit saying, did they say how long he's out for? Nothing's been said on how long he's out for. But it's basically exactly the same injury that he was literally just come back from. So, and where he still wasn't, I'd say, fully fixed, because he needed game time or whatever else from having exactly the same injury before, he's going to be at least out for 3 or 4 months before he has a chance of seeing that pitch again. And if he does come back after that amount of time, it's going to take him another month or two to get himself up to standards, if his body's even got the capability of getting him up to them standards. It is all one massive gamble. So again, I'm saying, I think we should actually brush him aside and start looking for someone else there, because otherwise we're going to be in serious trouble. Where is our creativity going to come from? Like we said, Kudus has got a bit of creativity in him. Kulusevski's got a little bit of creativity on him. Without Maddison there, I think our creativity basically comes down from the right-hand side with Kudus and Porro. I think they'd probably be the most two creative ones we got there. I mean, Bentancur, yeah, drop him deep, use him as a bit more of a deep line playmaker, try and get it coming from there. Okay. But again, another player who has not been consistent for us for a long time. But I suppose you can also argue that back to who was consistent under Ange, basically. We are limited in a big, big way for creativity. I mean, can anyone else think of someone in number 10 position that we should be out there looking for? Because I have looked about and I really don't see many options. And this is one where maybe Morgan Gibbs-White would have been a very good idea. No, not as much of a number 10 as Maddison, but I think he could do more than just cover that role. Not saying it'd be in the same standards, but I think he could do more than cover the role. And Spurs Fit saying Maddison isn't even defensive midfielder. Yeah, I think it was just a misunderstanding, I think, the way he might have put it. And Philly 2109 saying some injuries are career-defining and takes a massive toll on their career. We said the same with Bentancur after his ACL. Exactly, and that was one ACL injury. And for me, Bentancur has not come back the same sort of player that he was before he had that injury. Yeah, we've seen bursts of it in games here and there, but out of any consistency at all, we haven't seen Maddison come back, Bentancur come back to the quality that he got injured at. And with two back-to-back injuries like this is enough to destroy anyone. Like I said earlier, if it took Virgil van Dijk over a year on the pitch to get back to standards, it just definitely doesn't look up there in the hope with Maddison, does it? And we are Spurs TV. Big up to you too. Tariq, what's that? Sudakov from Shakhtar. Can't say it's one I've ever looked at, mate, personally. I'll go and take a look at him. If you think he's a good idea for it, I'll have a look at that one. And we are Spurs TV saying it's half past. What is it? It's 4:30 where I live. Yeah, that's what I got up, mate. Just, you know, I had a bad night, one of them ones, and then wake up and come love nor money, no matter what, you just cannot get back to sleep. Yeah, just been one of them ones. An international observer, big up, Dan, big up to you too. Spurs Fit, what are you saying here? De Ketelaere would be a dream, but I'm happy to bring in Julian Brandt or Kang in Lee. Yeah, the thing is, you see with De Ketelaere, I don't think it would be this major dream signing that we would be doing. Because I don't think he would cost that much money. I think we'd get him, say, what? If we pay 50 million for him, I think we're almost going over. I think he's one we could honestly get for, say, 40, 45. So let's just say 50 million for the sake of it, even 55. He's got a young age on him. He's 24. And as I say, he plays attacking midfield central with a bit of a playmaker role to him. He also plays up front as well. He's got international experience. He's played plenty of games in Serie A. No, when he started off at AC, I think it was AC he started off. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't start off too well. But since he's been at Atalanta, he's been a very good player. And I don't think it would be this dream signing that everybody would be like if we got Eze. Eze is more of a dream signing for me in that aspect. More of a dream signing. I think it is a realistic signing we should be looking at and going for. And for those people who don't watch Serie A, go and check him up on a few things. He is a good player, and it also looks like there's a lot more potential there to become a better player. I just honestly can't find another serious one that I can look at. I mean, there's a few players we can go out there and look at and say, yes, we'd have him, yes, we'd have him. But it's on the realistic side of getting the player as well. And every day that goes by, we are getting more and more limited for time, aren't we? And Guy, big up to you, mate. And we are Spurs TV. What you're saying here, he didn't do much versus low block teams anyway, other than roll around when we were trying to get to a goal. Yes, but we miss him big time when he's not on the pitch because we just have no creativity and it shows. You're not that bothered that he's out. Okay, fair enough. I mean, if that's your opinion, mate, but then where does the creativity come from? Do let me know from there. I mean, maybe we can pass it on to Frank. But again, like I said, with Maddison, I think he's definitely one that you notice more when he's not there than when he is there to an extent. And DW, what happened to the investment and takeover? Where is the 60 million? What do you want me to say? Time will tell. Was it even there in the first place? Who knows? And Warren Williams saying, morning to you, mate. Total facts you're talking. Sad, really, because I rate him as a player. So do I. And I do actually think he gets underrated as a player. But sadly, he never got himself strong enough in the gym to be able to handle the Prem. It's a hard league for most. Time it's cold. Yeah, I totally get it. I totally get where you're coming from there. And Toxic Headshot, Jack Grealish is an option. If we can get him on loan, would he do the job as a number 10? I don't know. That one I'd have to see it. I mean, he doesn't see it. Yeah, I'd have to see it. If we can get him on loan and take the place for the meantime and that, it'd be something. It'd be an option. It's just I honestly don't see many serious number 10s. I just seriously don't see many serious number 10 playmakers out there. And Ghosted, big up Dan for the early morning stream. Yeah, it's not going to be long, mate. Only going to do another 15 minutes, then start on my third coffee and hopefully wake up a bit. Because like I said, up since 4:30. And you know where you're just up and down. 1 minute you're a bit tired, 1 minute you're a bit awake, but you just cannot go back to sleep. And Rand saying, are we getting slapped tonight? I don't know. Time will tell on that one. We will only see. Warren also saying, best playmaker I've seen in the league was KDB. Well, that goes without saying. We all knew that. Would take the game on by his own 4 leagues and row. I don't think anyone will do that again. Not many players even play an out-and-out 10 playmaker role, in my opinion. It is played in a very different way. Maddison definitely plays it in more the old school way, I would say, the way Ericsson used to play it. But obviously, I agree with what you say. KDB, that's a whole different kettle of fish compared to Maddison, isn't it? If we're going to be realistic there. And Andy saying Maddison was only a third-part player. He would have been, if he wouldn't have had the injuries he did last season, he would have just been so much more of an important player. And Ghosted, we can't rely on Maddison no more. He's always injured. Yep. And Ronnie saying last injury was not an ACL. Okay, what one was it then? Don't let me know, because they said this manager, they said that Maddison, from what I've read, I know it gets chopped and changed, so I'm only going by what I read, said it was an ACL injury he's just got, the same as the last one he just had. So if it's different, someone do inform me on that one then, because I'm only going by what I read on there. And Mark, morning all, morning to you too, mate. Ghosted just saying to Ron, we won't get slapped, close game, but more likely a Bayern win as we have no quality up front. Look, every time we play Bayern Munich, we seem to get destroyed. They are one good team that is very good at embarrassing us and a couple of other London clubs as too when they need to. I mean, the only ones that I've seen for a long time out of the London clubs as such who stood up against them. I mean, the amount of abuse that Chelsea took off of them in that game and then still managed to win it. Bayern Munich are dangerous. But again, it's only a friendly. And Ghosted, Kane probably scores against us tonight. Do you know what? What is that? Just a rub it in sort of thing. That wouldn't surprise me either. And DeFresher saying, De Ketelaere has the advantage of being predominantly left-footed, yet can be advanced on the front line, can finish with both feet, and has good vision and carries on with an aerial threat too. I've watched him play quite a few times, and again, he's one I think we should definitely look at. 50 million. I think we get him, and wages-wise, we definitely have more than enough of what he already gets, as far as I know. I just think it's an easy option we should go for, and definitely, yeah. And he's a unit as well. Exactly. I think there's a lot about the player where we should seriously be looking at him. So why aren't our scouts looking at that? Why can I watch Serie A and spot this player? I mean, yeah, we don't know what scouts have actually done, what they've actually seen and whatever else in that. But how comes we're sitting in here and a few people are noticing what I've said here, that it isn't just a crazy idea? So why aren't the scouts already out looking at this? I mean, the age of him as well fits right into the Spurs project as such. Maybe a little bit old for it, but and he's only 24. But a lot of it just makes sense as far as I'm concerned. And Adam saying Maddison is tart anyway, thinks he's superstar, and he don't want Grealish. Yeah, Maddison maybe a little bitch on the pitch sometimes. I don't deny that. But again, a very skillful, very good playmaker, and he is a good footballer. Okay, brittle at times and that, goes down a bit easy, gets moody and that. But again, another player, we really do notice it when he's not on the pitch, because where does our creativity come from now? I mean, it showed like in games against like Man United, for instance, in that final, absolutely no creativity whatsoever. In other games, we had to play without him. And also with Kulusevski injured. And Kulusevski is nowhere near as creative as Maddison, but he's got a little bit there. Who are we going to use as the 10 now, unless we basically buy someone for it? And Jessica's saying Simmons, but I don't think we'll have the same issue. Mads Miller would be a good choice. Keteleri, yep. Eze, yep, yeah, I'll go with them. I mean, Simmons, you on about Savvy Simmons there, the one that we're meant to be looking at, and the one that looks like he's going Chelsea anyway by the look of it, but he's another one we go for, but he would cost a significant amount more money, I think. And Keteleri is then, I think we're getting 40-50 million. So I think it's a bit of a no-brainer, really, that one, if I'm going to be totally honest. And then you've also got someone who can play up front when needed to be as well. We are Spurs TV saying it's too early for me to be converse with someone who's splitting hairs. Fair enough. And Tony saying we need goals, Solanke, Odegaard until our bang average. I mean, saying that bang average, mate, I think you're pushing your luck there, isn't it? I mean, yeah. Where are the goals going to come from as well? Up front, it's starting to look dangerous now, and especially where we got no creativity there. Even if you haven't got the best striker on the planet, if you've got someone that can basically put it on a plate for him, it definitely does a lot of the job. It is not looking good up front at the minute. And Toxic Headshot saying, I'm not even going to pronounce the bloody name. It's a great opportunity. Should make a move. I'll have a look at that one. I can't think of the player, and I'm not even going to try and say his bloody name. I'll bite my fucking tongue off in the process. And Adam saying Simmons is going Chelsea. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to end up at Chelsea. I mean, and the money they're willing to pay for him as well isn't the sort of money that we're going to chuck out. And Fraser also saying, Ghost did agree. I just ran out of chat space. Fair enough. And Goose saying, damn, would you take Damsgaard? Not a sexy name, but seen quality last season. Would it be one worth going for? Possibly. I don't see why not. It just looks like this. For me, I just want that number 10 position covered with someone who can definitely create something there. Because otherwise we got it nowhere near on the pitch. Mark, maybe it's too early, and he meant Paulina. Yeah. I mean, I'm quite behind everybody on here now, just going through the chats. Or I'm saying, I heard that in one ages, a tart of Jack comes into London. He will be on the piss every night, chasing famous girls. Look, I mean, a lot of people do mention that with Jack Grealish, like he's a pisshead, this, that, and that, and everything else. What, are you telling me just because the bloke's gone out and got drunk a couple of times, like a fellow of his age with a bit of money, like he's a wrong for it or something? I mean, if we're going to be totally honest, we've had midfielders like Basuma that have been caught hanging out his car window with a bit of gear in his hand, geared up to his head. What one's worse? I mean, I think most people have been out and got on the piss a few times. I mean, if you haven't gone and done that, for me, you haven't lived much of a life, especially as like when you're 18 upwards and in your 20s and that, you go out with your mates, you get on it. Fine, he's got a job to do, and he's also done his job at City as well. So if he wants, do you know what? Any player we get, if he wants to go and be a pisshead in his own time, go and do it, mate. Get drunk 24/7. I don't care. As long as when he comes on the pitch for Spurs and performs, that's all I'm actually bothered about. What he gets up to in his private life, go and bloody do it. As long as you perform on the pitch, I really don't care. And Vindaloo, morning, Dan. It's 9:39. The time hasn't gone forward by an hour of day. No, and 7. Big up, Dan. Big up to you. Like I say, I'm only going to stay on another 5 minutes. It was just because I wanted to come on and basically put this point over on Maddison and just see what a few people thought on, are we actually in more trouble than it actually looks? Because, yeah, I mean, it's like Ron's saying here, our defence used to be a problem. The problem was with the defence, though, is I don't think it was the actual defence. Yes, I've got my issues with Romero and that, of how up and down he is with his games, basically, and that. But it was more the way we were being played that was the major problem for the defence. Now it's looking like it's up front, isn't it? I do agree. Our defence used to be a problem. And now we've attacked 24. Son, 23. Yeah, Madders, 20. Kulu, all gone. We really are fucked up front. It's definitely looking that way. And Jason saying move quickly for Luiz. No, we got to go for that number 10 now in my position. Wouldn't say no to getting him, but I think there's more priorities than that now. We've got our man in the middle now with Paulinho, and we need to focus on up front now more than ever. More than a left back, more than another defender, more than anything. We need a number 10 that I think is our priority position. And Adam Adam. We gone in the opposite now. Good at the back, piss poor up the top. Yep, it's looking that way. Well, was we ever good up the front, really? But we did score goals. Vindaloo, well, I've got 20 quid on Bayern and Cardiff. Hopefully it all goes well. Hopefully it don't. Break a leg, mate. And ghosted Rodgers, but we won't get him. Yep, that's another option I suppose you could put there as well. Sanchez at Atletico, possibilities. But I just still do think the one that just makes sense for me most there is still De Ketelaere. I think he's just one that makes total sense for it in every which way. And we are Spurs TV. It's a positive. We won't have someone rolling around on the ground when we're trying to get a goal. Fair enough, but we ain't going to have someone there who could set the bloody goal up in the first place. There's two sides to that one, definitely. Spurs fit. There's enough options. Well, let's go and take some of them then, and let's go and do something, because it's only about 3 weeks now until the season starts, isn't it? Or is it even less than that now? We haven't got long to go. And we should have gone for Elliott, a long-term option. Totally agree with that one. But a lot of people also said that Harvey Elliott isn't their type of player. But again, I suppose he's Levy or whoever else who makes decisions. So whether we like the player or not doesn't really come into it, does it? But Harvey Elliott, for me, was a bit of again, 30, 40 million for him. Fits into every which way that we wanted there and the project and everything else. For me, it was another no-brainer that we should have actually gone and had a serious look at. But again, we just sit back and let others get on with it. What are we going to do? Just wait until the last minute? I honestly don't know where it's going to go from there, basically. Really don't. We are leaving it to the very last minute. And Andy saying as well, Madders will end up as a bring-on player. We need Eze. Well, Eze is it's the one we've wanted for 2 years. But have we even put in a bid for him? I don't even see anything ever come up that we've actually put in a bid for him. And he would be the ideal player we could get there, basically, to take a place. Could have done with him last season very much as well. A very good player, but another one, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. It looks like he goes to Arsenal. It looks like Arsenal wants him. Maybe if on the last day of the season it turns out that don't go through to Arsenal, whatever else, would be a chance that we go for him and we could get him. But who wants to wait and take that chance, basically? And Sammy saying, big up, Dan, where's the hat gone? Probably behind me. Vindaloo, yeah, talking there. Adam saying, apparently looking for Savinho City. I like him. Yeah, there is options out there, without a doubt. I was just basically going through of what I saw, who was the best option that we go for. And in personal opinion, apart from going for someone like Eze or Simmons, which ain't going to happen, I think it's the best option there that I found. And big up James Reese with Super Sticker. Much appreciated, mate. Thank you very much. Do appreciate that. I mean, Finn, what you're saying here, Maddison has been out with injuries for over 400 days since 2019, which averages over 2 months a season. I can only see that stat getting worse as he gets older. Yeah. Yeah. What else do you want me to say on it, mate? I mean, where do you see it going from there? It's just the problem is with that is I think you're right. And I think that's where a few people, like me being one of them, hasn't looked at the long side of this one and where it's going to go, basically. And after what Connor said yesterday, it actually made me think about the long-term side of it as such. I just thought him as a player like, right, we need to replace him now, not for the long run. And yeah, when you look at it in the long run, basically, he definitely needs to be replaced. And last couple I'll read out quickly. Big D saying, if we were willing to spend 60 million on Morgan Gibbs-White, agreed, then why can't we just add another 8 million and get Eze? We are actually in a predicament. So that boggles my mind. Why don't we push the boat out? When do we ever do it? It does seem as simple as that, really. I mean, we don't know what goes on behind it and whatever, but it does literally seem as simple as that. We are in a right situation now where we are desperate for a number 10 who can do that job, where we have no creativity on that pitch whatsoever, really, without Maddison. Not properly. We've got a bit with Kudos, a bit with Kulusevski, who's injured, and the only other one who's got a bit of creativity is probably Bentancur or Porro, but none of them are out and out creative players. So with no creativity, we are going to be in a serious bit of trouble there. But that's all I've come on here to say, basically. Was trying to get on there earlier, but for something extremely, I was just pissballing me about. Thanks for watching, people, and thanks to James for the super sticker. I'm going to go and make my next coffee, and yeah, hope everyone has a good day. Good morning, everyone, and I hope you all have a good day. Thanks for watching. Take care.